Now I'm delighted to welcome Swarna Ramanathan, Associate Partner at McKinsey Company. Swarna focuses on trends in the future of mobility, helping global companies develop new business opportunities, leading workshops, and improving efficiencies in the automotive and energy sectors. Swarna, your background is in car design and engineering. What led you to end up in your current role?
Hi, Michelle. Thank you. Thanks for having me and hosting such an interesting panel. I've been very keenly listening to everybody else. Fantastic. So how did I land up what I'm doing right now? I'm a mechanical engineer by background, and naturally I went into the automotive sector. I worked for General Motors for a very long time in India and in international positions in Germany and Sweden, etc. And I was a car designer, like you said, more into engineering and manufacturing vehicles. And what led me here was mainly my role in doing my MBA, and then I changed my careers into consulting, and then joined McKinsey in about 7-8 years ago. And since then, I've been working in consulting, mainly focused on automotive sector.
Wow. And I should say also, please, anybody that's got any questions for Swarna, please put them in the Q&A. This already sounds like she's had a very interesting career, so please, offer those ahead. So Swarna, we've heard it from some of the others, but for you, why does diversity matter?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so many of our co-panelists have already mentioned diversity matters because it improves creativity, it improves the morale of the team, it brings in innovativeness, etc. It does a different voice in the room, etc. So lots of different reasons to bring more diverse teams. But there is also a business case for it. I mean, we in McKinsey, we run an annual survey with more than 300 companies with more than 40,000, 50,000 participants, asking specific questions around diversity. And we've seen, places where you've got 30% plus women in leadership positions or in executive positions easily outperform other companies in profitability, in performance, in business performance, where you just find women in leadership positions within 10 to 30%. So there is a clear business case and there is a clear research around it, which proves that diversity is really important, on top of all the software elements that we all have spoken to already.
Yeah. And what do you think organizations could do to win through diversity and inclusion?
Yeah, so I think just repeating the point to say that I think it's not anymore a question on whether it is needed or not. It's just a question of how do you get there. And I think one of my previous speakers also said the same thing. There are a few things which, very concretely companies can do, I think. One is giving the accountability to managers and to executives to make sure that they are looking into diversity with a very specific angle, right? So give them the accountability to have more women, not just gender diversity, but across all other sectors as well, giving them accountability. Secondly, promote that openness and tackle this question on the head. It's like if you're not able to recruit more women, if you're not able to retain more women, tackle that question on the head to say why is it so? What should we change? Instead of putting it under the carpet and just paying lip service. Thirdly, I think there's a lot we as leaders could do in the sector, in organizations, because we have official systems of promotions, attrition levels. There are systems and tracking mechanisms which in the HR, which we can enable equality by giving a little bit more focus on all the systems that we have. And I think lastly, we should just make sure that we foster an environment of belonging and make sure that there is support network, which I think Maria was just mentioning, all through the levels, not just in the entry level, but also in every level, make sure that that support network is there for women and particularly tackle the challenges that women would have in any kind of a professional environment.
Yeah.
So different things that companies can tactically do, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that you're a big believer in having a role model. And why do you think it's so important to have a female role model?
It is so important. You're right. I'm a big believer of that. And it's just that in my career, through my career in the last 15, 20 years, I have been always looking up to women, and sometimes within the company that I'm in, or sometimes outside the company that I'm in, but in the sector, right? So always within the automotive sector. And it's when I was working for General Motors, it wasn't Mary there, it was a man. When I came out of General Motors, it was Mary. It was like, wow, fantastic to see a woman CEO take the reins of such a large company in the world. Right? It's just, and it just installs the belief in you that, yes, it's possible. And I look up to it to say, like, yes, I can be like that one day. Right? That's in the world of automotive. I think we just need more role models to make sure that, you know, people can look up to them and see that there is a path there, that you can grow up and you can actually become one of those leaders in this sector. Other sectors have it more so than automotive, as we all know, and we just need to have more such role models in the auto sector, I think.
So it's up to you to be the role model right now.
I try to be that. It's all my panelists here. We've got a fantastic panel of women here. All of them are role models, I guess.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's take a look at some questions that we've had to come in. Okay, here we go. If you had to live your career again, what would you do differently, or what would you keep the same?
I wouldn't do anything different. I totally loved the fact that I entered the automotive sector. It was when I left university, it was always fashionable to join IT in India and join one of the tech giants, even if you had a mechanical engineering degree. Wow. And I'm incredibly proud, and I'm incredibly happy that I actually chose my career in the automotive sector. And the way I maneuvered different things, I wouldn't change anything, to be honest.
That's great. You've had a great career. Okay, I'm actually here as well, on from there. As a woman of colour, what were your primary challenges and how did you navigate through them in relation to that?
Yeah, so in certain instances, I mean, I should say that I haven't been particularly challenged with being a woman of colour. However, what I can think of is overcoming that challenge with content analysis that you can actually talk through and back up yourself in terms of what you speak and how you speak, rather than focusing on the appearance or the skin color, etc. Right? So just give more focus on the content side of things, I would say, rather than appearance.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, let's see what else we've got. This is quite an interesting one. Mm-hmm. I would like to know if you have observed improvement in female car designers and making cars look more feminine.
Very, very interesting question. So when I was in the automotive sector, not consulting, again, I think most of us will recognize who are from the auto sector. Women are mostly in designing, mostly in color and trim and working on materials. There are a few women in the sector, I would still think, who are not in aesthetic design, who are not doing the car design, but it's more on color and trim and materials and look and feel, because they think we are better tuned to colors and materials. I think we should just change that paradigm, right? We have to change. It's not changed yet. Still, I see a lot of my car design friends are all mostly men from the sector, but very few women who actually do exterior design or interior design, more so on color and trim. So yeah, I wouldn't think we have a long way to go there, I guess, still.
Definitely. Okay, so and also here, what do you think we can do to make sure female role models are more visible for the next generation?
So, to be honest, I mean, panels like this help a lot to reach out to a diverse variety of people, right? Because you're not confined to just your own organization, but social media and panels like this help a lot. And within your organization, of course, we can install sponsorship programs and mentorship programs, right? So those would enable role models to be appearing in a more open environment. But I do think, especially in our sector where we see less and less role models within the organization, we have to open up cross companies to see how people can help each other and role models appear more on social media or conferences and open platforms. Yeah, you're right. I think we've got time for one more question. Here we go. Sometimes feminine qualities are defined as just soft, kind, etc. What
qualities would you love to be redefined as feminine?
Well, those policies are super important to be soft,
Yeah.
kind. They have to be important, and I think we shouldn't discard them as feminine. I think they are really important in a team environment to be kind and to be caring and to be nurturing others. But again, apart from that, being assertive of what you believe in, and bringing in your facts and backups to just stand behind yourself is very important, is equally important as caring and being nurturing, I guess.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Swarna. It's been fantastic. We'll bring you back very soon when we do our full panel discussion.
Thank you, Michelle.